I'm Tiana.
And I'm Trav.
And this is I Now Pronounce You,
where we reflect on our experiences and give our opinions.
It can be hard to take the time to process it all.
So we're making the time now.
We welcome you to
I Now Pronounce You. Hey.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of I Now Pronounce You. I'm T.
And I'm Trav.
And it's November.
It is November.
Getting close to the holiday time. But before we get into all of that, I got to check in on you and with you. How you feeling, Trav?
I feel great, baby. How about you?
I feel good. I was super stressed last week.
Yeah.
We ended up skipping last week's episode and moving it to this week because I just had so much going on. Trav had a lot going on too, but I felt like my brain was oozing out of my ears.
Yeah, and I'm used to that feeling. So y'all have to bear with us because it's not an easy feeling to deal with.
No, it's not.
It's conditioning.
I had so many just tasks to complete. I had essays to write. My job ended up nominating me for Teacher of the Year, and I had to come up with a resume, which I hadn't updated in forever, and write 2 essay type responses. And I already had a deadline for writing test questions for the state of Maryland, and so all of these things compiled into we need our stuff now.
J.G. Wentworth.
So there was a couple of days where I just stayed up till 1, 2 in the morning and eventually knocked it out. Now, the Teacher of the Year type stuff, that wasn't my fault. I legit got a 3-day warning of a turnaround.
Yeah.
But the Maryland assessment stuff, technically I had weeks to do that. And I kind of, procrastinated with daily life and put it off until I felt like I could palate it. It was so stressful seeing what I had to do that I wanted to wait and be like, okay, Tiana, you got to wrap your mind around this. So one day I just printed all the materials and then I waited a week and then I'm looking through the materials and I waited a week and then so I was just trying to ease myself into it and then,
That's rough. That sounds like a tough schedule.
That's how I got through college though.
Really?
Legit would wait 2 days before a paper was due and bang out 15 pages.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, it worked for me. Probably not the best tactic in the world, but I graduated with at least a 3.2 in all my degrees. So I'm
hey, baby, if it works,
it works. It works. But some of the things that I had on the docket last week was, what did your son do, Trev?
With this past week?
Hold on, before you even talk. So Trev thinks that Tyson's hair is difficult, right? And so he's cut it a couple of times. Trev got it to what he thought was a perfect length. He got the barber to come out to the house. The barber did a fly cut. Ty had the cut maybe 1 week. What happened, Trev?
The Bama found some scissors and started cutting his hair out. Cutting patches in it like he was Bob the barber. I don't know.
Legit patches all on the side of his head.
They say patches.
I'm dependent
on your son. To pull the family through.
That's my dad's favorite song, Clarence Carter. But, and so Tyson was just what's the big deal? Didn't get it. So I we let him wear a hat for 2 days.
Yeah,
and I
took
a picture of it and showed him. He legit, his lip curled up. He almost cried when he saw what he had done. Because when you look straight ahead in the mirror, you're what are you talking about? I look fly. I don't see nothing wrong. I didn't do anything.
Until you look at the back of his head.
And the side.
Oh, man. I was so upset because I had him the most perfect Will Smith fresh, taper fade. It was the freshest. I'm looking at him man, I should have got that cut myself, son. You look clean, son. And he just jacked it all up. I was so upset. I was mad. but I couldn't, translate that too much to him. And I just like, let me go get the clippers. We're gonna have to guard it to the one all the way around. You're just gonna have to try to get the waves or something going, man, because you messed your hair up. It's gonna take like 3 or 4 months for your hair to grow back to that length. So
Trav had a haircut this past week. The barber came out and over the weekend, yeah, at the end of the week,
yeah,
and he saw Ty's head, and he's like, "You got a haircut, man?"
I know. It's so embarrassing for your barber to see somebody else touch, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else's head, man.
What I thought
Pause.
was dope was that he asked Ty what happened, and Ty, reluctantly said he cut it with scissors. And then the barber, Chris, he was like, well, will you do it again? And Ty said, oh, no. And he was like, so I think you learned your lesson. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a dope moment.
Yeah. My barber's super dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris, man.
So that was going on. So I don't know, but I think he'll not be scissor happy. Sissy went through the same type of phase though.
She cut small portions of her hair off.
She cut like the front of her hair. When she was about his age, she cut her brand new Hello Kitty curtains, her bed sheet, like
everything was Hello Kitty. She cut it all up.
It's something about scissors that it's like, oh, what can I get into? Almost like fire.
Yeah, it is. It's almost just as bad as fire. Don't let these kids get a hold of no damn fire. Goodness, man.
But another thing that's going on in the world is COVID rates are increasing.
COVID crazy out here.
The percentages is increasing again. And so, even though we've been in a global pandemic this entire time, but towards the end of the summer, I would say things got a lot more loosey-goosey. Things started reopening.
Everybody got more lax. Everybody was just, as long as we wear our mask when we go here, but when we go to our cousin's house, we're going to take our masks off. And no, social gatherings is where that virus spreads. So,
Super spreaders is what they call them, right?
Yep.
So, we were pretty... I don't know. I've been freaked out about it, even though we did do a small gathering for Halloween, and we did, go to an event. We've only ate out one time at a restaurant outdoors once during this entire pandemic.
And social distance.
And we social distanced, and it was outside or whatever. We never entered the restaurant at all.
We literally picked the furthest table from everyone.
But once these rates started to increase, we were like, guess we're back on super lockdown.
Yep.
Like super lockdown. Like you can't even probably come and visit us. Super lockdown. So
like holidays coming in, families coming over type lockdown.
Yeah, we'll just be doing our own thing here, just because you just never know who is carrying it, and it's not that people intend to spread it. No one wants the other person to be sick. No one wants their family and their friends to be sick.
Right.
It just unintentionally happens. And so because we know it unintentionally happens, we just want to safeguard ourselves as much as possible. You're already getting exposed when you go, to work or to the grocery store or wherever. So
yeah, and a lot of my exposure comes from when I do have audio sessions inside of the house. Like
I thought about that.
Yeah, and I've started to think about limiting that. But that's a personal conversation off the record between me and you. But I started feeling like that because I'm like, if these rates are going up and I'm like literally out and about and I'm trying to social distance, but then everyone else is lax and like you can't tell folks what to do without them feeling a certain type of way and. It just gets hairy.
That's why at the top of the pandemic, I just avoided, like, my family would do a few things outside because it's spring and it's summer and, like, why not? But I knew that if I went to those events, everyone was going to be super relaxed. And then it would make me look funny if I'm, like, having my mask on or if I'm standing away from everybody. Yeah. And everybody was like, no, nobody's going to feel like that, but they would.
Yeah,
so I just rather not put myself in that situation, you know what I'm saying, at all.
Very sticky.
Because at home, we're far out from everybody. So the only time I felt that we were in a pandemic is when I went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Because we were home, we were,
at the top of the pandemic, and it was super scary.
Yeah, I do remember that. And so I want everybody to be safe. I want us to be safe. And I know when you really want to do something and you got that fuck it mentality, You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm going to do it for the one time. And then, you know.
I've been thinking about that heavily because, a lot of the interactions that I'm having, with the audio and the visuals, and it's just, I gotta start to set some parameters, especially after the rise in the COVID, and it's hit close to home. A friend of yours, experienced that, and it's just like, you know what, we need to start being a little bit more vigilant.
I feel like at this point, everybody knows somebody that knows somebody, or that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at this point, it's a thing for everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, this episode is I Now Pronounce It, or I'll Now Pronounce You. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Yes.
Wrap it up.
You should do that. But in this episode, we're wrapping up our affairs for 2020 and prepping our goals and sights on chapter 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So one of the things that we're wrapping up for 2020, we just talked about COVID. Hopefully there will be a vaccination that I won't take in the beginning that will come out. So that's
I'm truly going to sit back for a minute until the trials come back and they're like, oh, everyone who took the first wave of COVID vaccinations, you have...
Call me ignorant, call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever. But
that's common science, though, babe. That's not a conspiracy theory. Like, things have to go through a trial run. So, yes, they've gone through a trial now, and 94%. But what about that 5%? Let's see what those, that 5% with their, But anyway, continue.
Another thing to wrap up is the presidential election.
Indeed.
We have a winner, and it is none other than former Vice President, now President-elect Joe Biden.
Sticky Joe.
Woo!
My man, Sticky Joe.
And Vice President Kamala Harris.
Hey, Miss Harris.
HBCU
alumni. Hey, you know.
All right, so the last episode that we did, we talked about how it was just important to get out and vote and just make your voice be heard and not listen to the riffraff of, your voice is not, your vote doesn't count. Well, evidently, it does, people.
Oh, so
Shout
much.
out to Stacey Abrams, who single-handedly, with her team, registered 800,000 new voters in the state of Georgia.
That's amazing.
And flipped the state from red to blue,
Amazing.
Which it has not happened in that way since, the early 90s.
And black folks, we love Atlanta. So now I feel okay about spending my money in the state of Atlanta just for that reason. I love Atlanta.
Yeah. So, it really did show our power as a nation. It really did show the power of the Black community and a lot of different minority groups that banded together to make this happen. And I think one of the initial things, because we didn't get the results right away, it took, Election Day was Tuesday, and we didn't get the actual word that Joe Biden would potentially be the president until that Saturday.
We were staring at our
so
screens
the world
for days.
was in limbo for quite a minute, and I think what shocked people is that it was such a close race as far as votes go in the beginning. It legit was half and half. It could teeter-totter either way, and a lot of people took to social media to talk about how that was disheartening.
Are we going to talk about, us living in the heart of America and what I experienced this past weekend and some of my experiences? Are we going to touch on that, or are we going to leave that alone?
I would leave it alone.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's your perspective. I wasn't there.
No, I'm just going to say that there was a lot of tension in Washington, D.C. because there was a MAGA rally to prove that for some reason that there was a miscount with the election. And I so happened to be in the city for that weekend, and tensions ran high, and it was a little unnerving to see some of that. And I got out of the city as soon as I could. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, Trav.
Yep. Why you laughing, baby?
Because you're being so official.
You said we were going to touch on it, so I just kept it.
I just don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
I kept it corporate, baby.
No, listen. I just don't want to go down a rabbit hole because at this point we have seen, heard, gone through so much with this election, with the divisiveness of the country,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the different political parties, that I just feel like it almost is like beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
Because, we know what's out there. We know what we see. We know what we feel. We saw what the numbers proved.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, you just really have to focus on fighting the good fight, as we always have. And in those moments where you feel that your voice needs to be heard, stand up and take care of business. But I feel like complaining about how some people decide to live their life or what they decide
Yeah.
to stand for, it's just a
Absolutely.
waste of
Yeah,
energy.
it is, and I just wanted to share my experience.
Yeah, no, go for
Yeah,
it, boo.
and that's it, baby. We got bigger and better things to talk about. The whole
But I
situation.
kind of want to touch on the fact that social media, people were airing their grievances, and they were just, like I said before, they were disheartened by how the race was such a close call. And it really showed me some different this election has showed me different features that has been brought out in social media, and I don't really know if I paid attention if they were there or not before. But did you know if there was any type of political post that you had? Did you see that warning before you would post it?
I did,
Has
especially on
that ever been there?
no, but especially on Facebook, I saw it, and it was a little disheartening.
Why?
But I guess the fact that political posts are now like something that
I
needs to
thought
be
it.
flagged. I mean, it's
I thought it was appropriate.
really
Yeah, I did. Did you see what it actually what the options were?
didn't read the details. No.
Okay, so let's say I was going to post. This is before, different articles were coming out saying that Joe looked like he was in the lead, that he would become president, right?
Right.
But even I posted on our I Now Pronounce You page, I posted a picture of the CNN article. When I went to go post it, it prompted me and asked me, was I sure that I wanted to post it? Then it gave me a link to accurate voter information in the moment, so that I could double check my facts before I posted it.
I like that.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah, I
thought
like
that was
that.
dope.
Yeah, I like that.
I
like
thought that was dope. The only other thing that I have seen on social media in the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, it could have been longer, but I just didn't notice it, was if you have sensitive content, if you have something that is going to be, with our, with,
explicit, or
yes.
it's going to invoke a certain feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it could be triggering to someone.
Exactly.
I like that it blurs over the picture and it says sensitive content, and you have to tap it in order to view it.
Yeah.
I do like that, because I have been avoiding, and I know a coworker of mine and we were talking in our DMs about it, K1 Charles. Did you read about that?
I did. It bothers me.
Did you look at the picture?
That bothered me even more.
Okay, I don't want to know about it. I really don't. I have not looked at the picture, and I told her I don't feel that it is that I'm being irresponsible, because I'm not. I read the articles. I did post about it to spread awareness, but I'm not looking at the picture. And I just feel like you do have to know your limits with things. You do have to know your triggers. And this year has been such an overwhelming year of, putting these issues to the forefront, which is needed.
And one of my aunts posted something about that is saying that, to just to piggyback on what you said, it doesn't make you irresponsible if you feel like you need to take a break from social media with all the things that you see on your timeline. Like, we naturally take breaks from our social media, but when it comes to this political race, it's just like so much information that we never had access to before has just flooded us, and it can pull you in so many extreme, directions, and it just.
And you know how sometimes you just pick up your phone out of habit and you scroll?
Yeah.
So if you're mindlessly scrolling, you are being just all these different things are being thrown at you, right?
Yeah.
Ad to buy this or that, this political view, that political view, this shade room post, this,
World Star Hip
blog,
Hop.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all of this is being, just thrown at you. Things that you may not even have wanted to think about on your 15-minute break. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it alters your mood for the rest of the day.
Yeah, but I read that article about K1. So many things do not make sense. his body being mutilated in the way that it was. I've heard it described. They're comparing it to Emmett Till, which I have seen. And I just hope that that family, that community, all the families that experience things like this,
Yeah.
that they just find something good, something relieving, something
Yeah.
refreshing out of this horrible situation. Like, I look to Trayvon Martin's parents, who have been a part of so many different marches and organizations, and his mom is actually running for a political position. I feel like she took her son's life and decided to honor it in a way that is just so impactful. She didn't crawl in a corner and decide that, life is now over. And I love that
Yeah.
about our people. I love that about humans in general when we put our mind to it, the resiliency of us. I just think it's great.
Yeah. So many things you could say, but it's just so impactful. And it just, the amount of feeling and thoughts that just overwhelm me at this moment, you just have to kind of sigh and just sit in your own thoughts and just know that sometimes the absence of words is the best stance, you know?
Yeah. So for all the K1s, for, all these type of situations that we are, bombarded with all the time, I hope that some type of change happens in people's hearts, happens in people's communities that stop and prevent this, because I feel like the divisiveness only fuels the fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm enraged, I'm just going to let you know that I don't like you. I'm not like you. I don't like anybody that's like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's why I didn't even get into what I saw this
Yeah.
past weekend, because it was exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked briefly about how, the holidays are coming up, and November is a pretty eventful month for us.
Oh yeah, because we got a whole lot of parties. Yeah, but social distancing parties. You know what I'm saying? We got T birthday.
Boo.
Hey, we got wifey birthday. We got
Ty's birthday.
Michu birthday. Hey,
We have Thanksgiving.
we got Thanksgiving. Hey, we got Uncle Mike birthday. Hey,
We have Shalane's birthday.
We got Shalane birthday. Hey,
Sharnice's birthday.
We got Shawnee's birthday. Hey.
Any other November that we like that no.
Oh, we got a lot of people.
Oh, Chad's birthday.
We got Wick birthday. Hey.
So there's just so much going on as far as like in our household, obviously, Ty, myself, and Thanksgiving, and then we put our tree up on Thanksgiving and all of that. But I don't like celebrating my birthday every year that it comes around. It's not a joyous occasion for me. And I started looking last night to see if like it was a thing. And so, you see, why don't people usually want to celebrate their birthday, babe?
I assume that women don't like getting older.
But that's not my thing. I'm actually enjoying getting older.
Yeah.
I come into myself more and more every year. It started around 23, 24, and at almost 32, like, I feel good about that. So I researched it, and apparently some people just don't like, and I kind of vibe with this. Some people don't like to celebrate it because of the expectation they feel like it invokes on other people. And when that expectation is not met, the feeling, you just don't even want to feel that. And so you just avoid it. And I can so get behind that. I don't feel that. Okay, so when I was a kid, when I was young, my birthday was not an event. It was just like, oh, happy birthday. Like, most of the time there wasn't a cake. There wasn't like, it wasn't a thing. And so as I got older, it just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to put that pressure on like friends or a boyfriend or whomever to like make this. Yeah, it's pretty much always been you. I never wanted to make it like this thing because I didn't like the expectation and I didn't want to be let down. And I didn't
Facts.
really realize that until yesterday. And I told you one year when we weren't together, I said I didn't like my birthday, and my friend Kel at the time, he was like, he thought it was so weird. And I remember he blew up my phone one night of my birthday, and I didn't answer it. I shut my phone off, and I went to sleep. I avoided it altogether. You had Mara, I think, for the weekend, and I refused to do anything. And I remember him being like, that's so weird. Why don't you like your birthday? And so I sat down and I wrote down every birthday that I pretty much could remember in my life. And I didn't always like feel loved and supported around it. So like, I just don't think there's like good vibes that come with the birthday time. And I just don't want to expect anything different. So every year I tell you I don't want anything. I don't want to celebrate it. I don't want to, because I'd rather
I try
not
my
have an
damnedest though.
expectation.
Every year I try my damnedest, and something in the universe just like stops it, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Do you know what my favorite birthday was? I told you this before. Do you remember?
no, sweetheart, remind me.
My favorite birthday is when I turned 20 and Tamara was 3 months old. And it's so basic, but it was so fun. You took me to, I think you asked my mom or somebody, like, oh, can you watch Tamara? T and I, we just gonna get out for a little bit, like go to Ruby Tuesdays and eat something, right? So I'm like, oh, yay, it's been, I think Mara maybe was like 2 months old. She's 2 months old. We just about to go out and get something to eat. And when we got there, it was a bunch of my cousins and their like boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah, that was so dope.
And it was like the best because
Yeah,
I'm like, these people are here for me. Like,
of course they are beautiful. They're here for you.
and
Yep.
it was just really nice. Now the flip side of that coin is I don't mind being there for anybody else. I will be in the room, I will support, I will champion you, but it just feels really weird when it is done to me.
Just bothers me being for you to just continuously be a servant 100% of the time. Like, and we have.
I'm comfortable in that role, babe. I don't know.
We have matriarchs that even mention that.
Yeah, we've talked about that before on the show, but like, I'm just comfortable in that role, and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I'd never have an expectation of people because I feel like people let you down.
Humanity is shallow, yes. But one thing about people that love you around you, if you have just those people, like me personally, if it's a birthday of mine, I prefer a small setting if I do set up anything at all. But if you haven't noticed, my birthdays have been wacky as hell for as long as I can remember. And I try my best to make it go. And then it's gotten to the point where I don't even make a big deal out of my birthday anymore. I don't know if, me and you are just aligning, as a married couple. But
how do you feel about that?
It's weird. It's just super weird. It's just like every day can be fulfilling. But for me to put so much pressure on one day, it just seems asinine. It's just like, why does it matter? In this one particular day, like,
I don't post my birthday. I don't like.
I turn my notifications off on my birthday.
I
I don't want
don't
any
do
fake
any
love.
of that. And I'm not.
Don't send me no fake love, man.
And people, I'm not saying it's fake love because if I see that it's somebody's birthday, I will comment and say happy birthday, even if I haven't talked to them since the birthday before when I left that birthday message. I will do that because I feel
That's
like
fake love, man.
no, I feel like if you are posting about it, then evidently you want people to know, right?
That's why I turn my notifications off.
So I will, you know what I'm saying? I will comment or I will like the post or I will say happy birthday, whatever the case may be. But I don't like posting about it. And then I might get a few messages before or a few text messages after and being like, wasn't it your birthday or isn't your birthday close? And I'll just say, oh, yeah, it was last week. Or,
if you genuinely remember my birthday, I'm going to show you mad love. But I don't want it to be like a Facebook or an IG notification like, it's so-and-so's birthday. And blah,
I don't
blah, blah.
feel like people have ill will against it. Like, I'm just saying I just don't want to
No, that's
be
facts.
like,
That's facts, baby.
hey, it's my birthday. Like, it's just not in my personality to do that. But, people are not going to remember dates and all that kind of stuff. But I can remember at least around I'm really good with birthdays. But if I don't, I at least know it's within that week. And then I'll shoot you a message being like, isn't your birthday coming up? Do you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's this date. And then I know on that date to do that.
I barely remember people's names. So I know for sure that I can't remember their birthdays. But one thing that I will do is if I remember their birthday, I will put a calendar invite in my phone about it. Like, anybody outside of this household, I have a hard time remembering their birthday. I remember my brother's birthday and my mom's birthday, but outside of that, maybe my grandmother, my uncle and stuff like that. But everybody else, it's like I'm hitting somebody up. If I know their month, and I'll just try to hit everybody up. An unbiased party, of course. But
so my birthday is in 3 days. It's this week. And I know Courtney was like, Tiana, don't be like that. Like, are you going to, do something? She's like, obviously it's COVID and you're not going out, but like, you should acknowledge your birthday. And closer it gets, I don't think that I am.
The pressure, I don't think y'all understand the pressure of being married to my extremely successful wife that's super beautiful. And when it's her birthday, like, the best thing you could do is steer clear because there's nothing that you can get her that she would like.
That's not true. I just don't like the expectation. I don't like the expectation. So it's like if you want to get me something cool, but most likely it's not going to be something that I want.
But I also
so it's just going to sit in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the vibe you get around you, the vibe that you get around your birthday is always super kind of awkward. But
my 28th birthday, I just like cried in bed and had no clue why I was crying. Couldn't figure it out. Was just crying. That was my 28th or my 29th.
Oh, it was one of them, baby.
And you were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Everything's rough, and I'm terrible at like. I mean, at the end of the day, if you need Trav to do something with business, and I'm all for it. But if you need Trav to like plan like an intimate event, like, oh man, like, you lost already. Like,
but at the same time, I don't want that. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so confused. I don't know how to explain that.
It's the fact of the matter is that if T likes to be in the mix. So if you let her control the narrative of whatever it is that she's something that she's celebrating, like, let her do that shit, bruh. Like, don't step in and try to be like, well, I think she might like this, and you think she might like that. Dog, it's going to destroy you, bruh. Like, just let her figure that out and let her tell you what you're going to do for that specific day because it's all about her. And then we run with it, bruh.
Which is most likely I'm going to end up on my couch with some takeout, watching TV, like watching.
And it can
TV
be premium takeout. That's what I'm saying, and that's cool because
and we've done that. We've gone and got like some sushi and some wine and just like kind of hung out because you're like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't know what you want.
But see, and it's crazy because the birthdays are like that in this family with both of us actually. But Valentine's Day is like both of our birthdays. It's like Valentine's Day is also our anniversary, and we just like ball out. Like we have the time of our life.
We make that special.
There's something special about that holiday.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. We'll figure it out one of these days. But moving on. I thought there was. It was something that I did see. That I had on the docket a few weeks ago, and I still want to talk about it. It was going viral on The Breakfast Club, and lots of blogs and things were talking about it. It was a clip of this dude talking about how women should be grateful for men who don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat.
Be quiet, babe. But that's a Breakfast Club.
Black men don't cheat. You hear me?
Thing between Charlamagne and DJ Envy, who both were cheaters.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Real live, black men don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about them.
Well, men, yeah, because he would be like, black men, and people were like, that's a lie. And he's like, no, black boys cheat, but black men, we don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat.
But I wanted to kind of get your opinion on that, and I'm going to shut up, and I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, baby.
Should women be grateful?
I think that not necessarily.
Choose your words kindly, nigga.
I think that it's not a necessary thing of women should be grateful. I think any individual should be grateful that their partner doesn't cheat on them.
Go ahead, babe.
So
Spit your true facts, though.
You know what I'm saying? These back facts. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh wow. But honestly, like if you have that trust in your partner, it's so unmatched because the world has so much on your shoulders already, and to know that wherever your spouse goes, you know that they're coming back, and you don't have to second guess wherever they've been or whatever situation they've been put in. They know that they've been solid. That's a peace of mind that you can't. That's almost like the grace of whatever your religion is. It's almost unmatched. You know what I mean? That your spouse can go anywhere in the world and you know that they got you solid.
Did you watch that dude's response?
No, I didn't.
So he basically said that, obviously, due to history, time, whatever, patterns, that men, anatomically, whatever you want to call it, that it's hard for them to be monogamous. So the fact that you have someone who is not stepping out on you, you should be praising them.
If we in the Flintstone age,
that's what
men
I'm saying.
men have evolved.
He's saying like you should be praising them because they, they are avoiding temptation.
Well, I mean, if when a man picks his wife, he picks a wife that can match his sexual appetite. So what we talking about?
Sometimes.
Even if it's a sometimes thing, yeah. I mean, there are nights sometimes that things don't match, but honestly, you're matching a woman that matches your sexual appetite. That's one of the factors, one of the many factors. It
is an important factor.
It's an important factor because the reason that it's important is not that because sex is the most important thing in a relationship, but it is a factor because that is a deciding.
It does help to rebalance and recalibrate and keep the connection going.
Yeah,
not gonna lie,
sex is important, man. Like because you can have that connection and all that, but something about that tension, and you want to relieve that tension and things like that. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get yourself together. You know what I mean? And what better than with the woman that you think is the most attractive woman to you? You know what I mean? And then especially if she's embracing and there's that fluidity, like everything is gravy. You know what I'm saying?
So on our Cheaters episode, which was like episode, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something like that.
Facts.
We talked about cheating, and I remember saying something to the point that like I'm not tempted by other people, like, because I just kind of like ignore people in a sense, like they're not on my radar. But I do feel like I can definitely see when you are not feeling like you're being seen at home, how you can have thoughts of, well, if somebody's showing me attention, let me lean into that.
Your extremities has nothing to do with that.
And if you do that, if you lean in to somebody showing you some attention, I feel like that's just a real thin line.
You make a choice when you cheat. You make a choice when you cheat. Like, you can feel like that, and then halfway through your thoughts, you be like, nah, that's OC. Like, that's out of pocket. Like, I don't even know why that thought even if that thought even glances your mind, like 20 seconds into that, you should be like, come on now, why would you even think like that? Like, it's not going to happen unless you forcefully do that, and then you have to ask for an apology. Like, I feel like every human being knows the difference between right and wrong when it comes to something like that. And if you've made a commitment, sometimes the commitment doesn't always feel good, but you always make that commitment.
Yes. Okay, you know so that's what I lean into. I lean into the respect that I have for my partner.
Respect, man.
But
Thank you, baby.
I think when you're in
You're so loyal, baby.
I think when you're in that moment of weakness, babe.
Yeah, nah, it's no such thing as a moment of weakness.
No, listen to this.
Nah.
I think when you're in that moment of weakness and you're not thinking clearly and you got somebody in your ear.
How did you even get into that situation?
That's what I'm saying. It's all choices.
Come on, man.
But let's reel it back real quick. So you don't feel that women should be grateful that their man not cheating?
Nah, come on, young. If you feel like truly that's the woman for you, homeboy, like you pick wrong then, bruh. Go ahead and cut that off and move forward, and don't hold that woman back from her Boaz. That's Ruth. Don't hold her back from her Boaz, brother.
I think men don't realize that it's hard for women too. Like, it can be a difficult situation for women too. you know, to be
Well, women
put.
sneaky, so that's different.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying? Women can
Now
fit.
Trav
Women,
pride getting in the way, so now he
women,
got
women
an
can
alley
truly.
hoop.
I'm not saying that my wife is sneaky, but I know for a fact of past experiences that women are naturally sneaky.
Oh, the girl with the drawers on her purse.
Women can naturally be sneaky, and they can sit there and be lovey-dovey all in your face and all in your grill, and it could be a moment where you're not giving them all the attention that they want, and they
That's what
can
I'm
move.
saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Men do that too, but that's what I'm saying.
But
People,
those are decisions. People make decisions.
people make decisions. Absolutely. Now, one thing I wanted to say about that is Kevin on stage spoke on it, and he said that he's not even going to front that when he was younger and in the beginning of his marriage with Melissa, Miss Kevin on stage, he would tell her that. Like, look, I got you this house. They both working now. This is before he was in the entertainment business. They worked at banks. He's like, look, I got you this house. I'm taking care of these kids. Like, you should be grateful that I'm out here doing these things. Because he would be at the bank, and you may be able to relate. Women would come in, see his ring, be like, oh, you got a little family, and admire that and share their stories of being with trash-ass dudes.
Yeah, baby.
And being like, you doing the right thing. And it empowered him to be like, Melissa should be thankful.
And I've worked in finance as well. And what I'm telling you is that women that's for the streets are for the streets. And that's why it's so important to have a friendship group around you that are in the same situation as you. If you have married friends, you can have your one-off. You know, everybody has that one or two friends that are single and things like that it may or may not influence them. I can't speak for everyone, but what I prefer to have is married men around me to keep you square. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bruh, like, what's going on with that? Or what's going on with this? Like, come on, bruh. Like, they for the streets, bruh. That's why they in the streets.
Or, no. I mean, I get that, too. I don't know. I have a mixed bag of emotions about that. But one thing that I really took away from him sharing that he once thought that his wife should be grateful was that there is a moment where you kind of have that paradigm shift and you're like, oh, hold up, wait. He said his paradigm shift was when he realized, like, I'm doing the bare minimum. Like, all right, I got a mortgage with my wife.
Because the shoe can fit the other foot, too. Because so you going home, you taking care of your kids. What your husband do? He ain't rub your feet tonight, did he? You know what I'm saying? Like, so the shoe can fit on either side.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody can play the devil's advocate when it comes to something like this, but you have to stay centered.
The people that he was comparing himself to was trash.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this dude over here that staying in his mama basement that's not taking care of his kids, like, that's trash. So why would she be so grateful and thankful and praying that I'm doing the right thing when that person is like way left field?
But what about the top shotter corporate CEO that's making like 400 or 500 bands a year?
That's true. You're not comparing yourself to that person.
You're not. So you have to think about it. There's a large scale of men that you're comparing yourself to the dirt. So, like you said, they're meeting the bare minimum, so just check yourself.
And he was joking, and he said that later, like a couple years after that, he had, like, lost his job. He was fired from the bank or something. And Melissa, like, took care of him and told him, like, you just stay home and you work on your videos. It's okay. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to make sure the mortgage taken care of. And he was like, she stroked his ego so much and made him feel secure,
like he was important,
and like he was important, and he was like, oh yeah, like there's no way that I should be thinking the way that I was thinking, because she could be like thinking I'm some trash right now and she's not.
What do we call it? Toxic toxic masculinity. You know,
there
what I mean?
was one other thing that you said that I thought was important. I posted a couple memes about the fact that I was grateful that, you know, you can have a tiff, you can be in a certain spot, but the other person in the relationship is just like, look, I got you. Like, we're going to work through this. We're going to get... Yeah. And I think that's really important to talk about, because we talk about it on the podcast here that, you know, it's not all peaches and cream and roses and flowers. Like, sometimes we don't like each other.
Yeah, that's facts.
But we love each other.
We do.
But sometimes we don't like each other. And in those moments that we don't like each other, the respect is there.
That's so crazy. I'm so glad you mentioned that. you have to respect your partner in a marriage, yo. Like, if you don't respect your partner, you can be out here doing anything. And
Yeah.
you could be beefing for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month. Some people beef for a year. But if you respect your other side, it's like, look, we in a major patch or in a rough patch. Let's just wait it out. Let's just wait it out. Whatever you got to do to wait it out, and just get your mind right. But don't ever compromise the union.
And
Please don't.
I hope that there never comes a day where, there might. I hope there never comes a day that I am not blown away by our marriage. In the sense that, like, even the other...
Don't ever say it may. It won't, because we both try.
That's true, boo. But even, like, the other day, like, I wasn't feeling everything. You wasn't feeling everything. And we could have, like, gone in, like, on each other in that moment. And we didn't.
But we didn't.
And later
That's
on...
so much growth. I'm so thankful for the growth in our marriage, because
Yes.
that shows growth. Years ago, we would have went in on each other.
Later on, well, you would have went in, but later
You
on,
would have went in low key.
That's what you say.
Continue, baby.
We about to go in right now. I'm just playing. Later on, we were like completely fine, and in my mind, I was like, "Damn, like this is awesome!" Like we snap right back. I don't know. It just amazes me when those type of moments happen.
Yeah.
But-
What's your takeaways, booby?
My takeaways. So I just really wanted to talk about. Well, I'll do a quick takeaway, but then I have something else I need to move on to. So my takeaway from today's... No, I'm not going to do a takeaway. If you want to have a takeaway, go ahead.
No, go ahead and do your thing, baby, and then we'll go into the takeaways.
So really, I just wanted to close out. I really don't have much of a takeaway because I know we were kind of here, there, and everywhere because it's our Wrap It Up episode. But we are going to take a 6-7 week break for the holiday season. I know everybody's preparing, to cook and to be with their families and to kind of de-stress for the holidays. This is our 25th episode.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. 26 if you count our introduction episode. So if you're just now joining us, you can definitely go back and listen to some of the episodes that we already have in place and catch up and do all those types of things. If you want to hear about how Trav and I got to the point that we were at from being, young parents at 18 and 19 years old with our child, from dating in high school, all of those early episodes, like episode 1 through 10, kind of covers the basis of that. Our relationship woes, our breakups, all of those types of things are in those episodes. We did a series called Love Is, where it was 5 episodes that we kind of chronicled the television show Love Is and used it as talking points for conversations. So even though we are going to take a break and we won't be back until Wednesday, January 6th with a new episode, please go back, share with your friends, share with people that you think would respect the content, and take a listen to it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like I said, we do plan to come back on January 6th, and we're going to get more banter. We're going to bring back more segments like I read it on Reddit and come again, and hopefully some new ones to throw into the mix. Anything else you want to say about that, Trav?
No, baby, you did an excellent job.
We will be doing some videos where we're talking about some of our favorite episodes that we're going to be putting on our social media and probably on our YouTube.
Yeah, mad visuals on the way.
Don't say mad, Trav. Don't set me
Mad
up.
visuals.
He's setting me up, guys.
Because I'm setting that expectation for her. She don't like to be on camera, but mad visuals is on the way.
It made me think of a Drake song. But only on camera. Only on camera. Sorry,
That's
my
terrible.
bad. I'm sorry. But you can follow us on in the meantime. Trav, what are you doing with Facebook, by the way? Nothing.
I just created a Facebook page. I'm just sending out updates. I'm inviting a lot of people that haven't, don't have access to the link tree, don't have access to the YouTube page, and I'm just linking everybody to it. So it's just pretty much bringing everyone that hasn't been up to speed and has been following on one platform, bringing them up to speed.
Okay. So in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at I Now Pronounce You Pod. You can email us at inowpronounceyoupod@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube at I Now Pronounce You Podcast, and then it'll come out. you have to put podcasts in there. It's very important, or you're gonna get like Chuck and Larry clips if you don't do that.
Facts.
So yeah, guys, we're really excited about next year. We're really excited about 2021 and the content that we'll create and bring to you guys. We really do this to enrich our marriage and to hopefully help or validate other people's feelings and their struggles or their strengths or their weaknesses or whatever. So, Trav, anything else?
That is it, baby. You covered everything. We'll see you guys in 2021.
Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
listening.
Stay safe.